Hello, my name is Ioannis Disoglu. In this video tutorial I'm going to show you how to create an advanced calculator by using C# and Visual Studio 2019. To get started, let's select Create a New Project. From the first drop-down list we're going to select C#, from the second drop-down list we're going to select Windows, and from the third drop-down list we're going to select Desktop. Then we're going to select Windows Forms App, .NET Framework, and click Next. I'm going to name my new project as Advanced Calculator, and then I'm going to select Create. If you cannot see your toolbox, if you don't see the layout like this, just go to Windows and make sure you reset your layout. Then ensure that the toolbox is here and is fully displayed by clicking on the little pin. So what we're going to do now, we are going to add one button. I'm just going to change the size of the button here, and I'm going to type here for the text value, I'm going to type the number 1. Okay, just going to make the font size bigger. Let's make it 11, and let's make it bold as well. Let's change the bold to true. So this is on the font section, the properties. Let's make it a bit bigger. Let's make it 15. Okay, so once you're happy with this, what we need to do is hold the Control key on your keyboard and then click and drag to replicate the instance of this button. And we're going to replicate this 5 times. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now I'm going to hold the Control key down and select all the instances that I've just copied, or click away and then click and drag to highlight all 5 buttons here. And then I'm going to hold the Control key down my keyboard and then click and drag downwards to replicate this 4 times. Okay. Now I've done this, I'm going to highlight all this and then push them a bit to the side here. This will do. And I'm going to make my form a bit smaller. Now I'm going to delete this button here, and I'm going to make this button a bit taller. I'm going to delete this button, and I'm going to make this button a bit wider. Here is the number. Here I've got the number 1. Here I'm going to put number 2. For the text value, I'm going to change the number 2. Here for the text value, I'm going to make it number 3. Here I'm going to make it number 4, and so on and so forth until I have all the numbers here. 6, then it's going to be 7, it's going to be 8, it's going to be 9, and here it's going to be my 0. Okay, so here this button will be my division, so I'm going to put /. This button will be my multiplication, so I'm going to put an asterisk. This button will be my subtraction, I'm going to put minus, and this button will be my addition, I'm going to put plus. This will be my equal sign, so I'm just going to put here equals. This will be to clear everything. I'm just going to put capital C. And here will be clear the entry, so I'm going to put CE. Okay, clear entry, it doesn't fully show, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to make my form a bit bigger. I'm going to highlight, I'm going to click here and highlight all the buttons here. Then I'm just going to click and drag to make them a bit slightly wider. Okay, so let's make this a bit smaller. Okay, the next thing we need to do, let's make this a bit smaller. The next thing we need to do is name our form. So I'm just going to change the text value for my form to Ioannis Calculator. And the next thing I'm going to do is add the text box. So I'm going to scroll down and click and drag the text box here. And also what I'm going to do, let's put here 0. Let's change the alignment to right. So I'm going to go for identify the alignment. Text align, there is. Instead of left, we're going to make this right. So we'll have the 0 here. And also let's change the font size. The font. Let's change the font size to maybe 14. Push it further up. Okay. The next thing I need to do is add the label. And also I'm going to select this text box, and on the under the enable section I'm just going to say false, so people cannot type anything. So if I press start, I've got everything here in place. People will not be able to add anything. So all my buttons are there. We have not added any code yet. Alright. Okay, now we are going to select the first button, which is the number 1, and we're going to double click to generate the private void for this button. Okay. What I'm going to do, I'm just going to call this, instead of private void button 11, I'm just going to remove that. So it's going to be private void, button on click. So if I go now and press the start button, I will receive this error message. So I'm going to select no, and I'm just going to put here the number 11 again. So what we need to do now is go back to the design view. Now because I put the number 11 again, if I click on the start button, everything works back again, not to normal, as normal. I'm going to stop the project, go click on the number 1 button, click on the lighting bulb here, and as you can see here, button 11, I'm just going to put here button underscore click and press the enter key on my keyboard. And if I press start now, everything will work fine. Alright. The reason why I did this is because I don't want to keep repeating the same code over and over again for every single button. I'm going to show you how to do this now. Now we have added the correct name for the click event. I'm going to copy this. And I'm going to paste this on every single button, which basically has a number. So this button here, number 2, Control V to paste. Number 3, click event, Control V to paste. Number 4, Control V to paste. Number 5, Control V to paste. Number 6, Control V to paste. Number 7, Control V to paste. Number 8, again Control V to paste. Number 9, Control V to paste. And okay, so we have all the numbers here have exactly the same name on the click event, button underscore click. Okay, now let's go and add our code. So I'm just going to double click on the first button, okay, the number 1. So on the private void button click, I want something to happen. What I want to happen here is, the first thing I need to do is say button space button equals, and then in parentheses I'm going to say button, close the parentheses, I'm going to put here sender, that one here. I'm going to copy this, put here center, and then I'm going to put semicolon to end my statement. Next, I need to basically call my text box here. So the name of my text box, let's go back to properties. The name of my text box is textbox1. Let's call this txt result. So let's go now to back to the code, and here I'm going to say txt result dot text is equals to txt result dot text, and then I will say plus the button.text, semicolon to end my statement. So what I'm saying is the text box result is equal to whatever already has this text box plus whatever button is being clicked, the value of the button that is being clicked. So if I click start now and I click here 1, I can see 1. I will be able to keep seeing 1. If I click 5, I can see 5, 6, 9, and so on and so forth. I can see all the numbers. Okay. The next thing we need to do, we need to clear the 0. So when somebody presses the button, let's run the program again. When somebody actually presses the button, we can actually see the 0 here. We don't want this to be there. So I'm going to create an if statement here just above. I'm going to say if txt results.text is equals to 0. If that's true, I want the txt results.clear, open, close parenthesis, semicolon, to end my statement. So now if I click start and I press any number, the 0 automatically is being removed. Okay. Now what we need to do is sort out the operators. So I'm going to select the first operator, which is the addition, and I'm going to go to the lighting bulb here for the events, and then on the click event, I'm just going to type here operator underscore click. I'm going to double click now here. So I've got the operator click. This is what we did before. I double click directly to the button. So this time I did it in a different way, and still you achieve the same goal. Show you two different ways to do that. Okay, so now the operator click, when somebody clicks on any of the operators, so I need to make sure that I will apply this click event here, the operator. I'm going to copy this and I'm going to paste this to every single operator. So the same click event will apply to all the operators. Okay, let's go now to the code. And what we're going to do here, first of all, we're going to copy this line of code and paste it here. Let's press the enter key a few times here to leave space. Now, within our public class form1, let's press the enter key a couple times here. We need to create a couple variables. So now I'm going to create a variable called the result value. So I'm going to make this, I'm going to give the data type of double to this variable, result val, and I will say is equals to 0, semicolon to end my statement. Also, I'm going to create another variable which is going to be a string, and I'm going to call this variable operation performed, and I'm going to make this blank. So I'm not going to put any text here. Okay, now we are going just below the button. Okay, what we are going to do is call the operation performed variable. So I'm going to copy this variable and paste it here. And I will say that this variable is equals to button.text, semicolon to my statement. Then I'm going to get the next variable here, the results val, paste it here, and I will say that this variable is equals to double dot parse, and then I will basically call my text box txt result dot text, semicolon to end my statement. So I'm basically parsing the result value. Okay, the next thing I need to do is go back to the design view, and I'm going to double click on the equal sign button. Sorry. Now here I need to create a select case. So I'm going to say switch and then I'm gonna basically call the operation performed variable. I'm gonna open and close curly brackets, and within my curly brackets I'm gonna add my cases. So I'm gonna say case, I will say is the plus. If the case is plus, then txt result.text is equals to, and then in parentheses I will say result value, result val, minus double dot parse, and then in parentheses I will say txt result.text, close the parentheses, then I will say dot to string, open close parenthesis, semicolon to end my statement. Then I will say break, semicolon to end my statement, and I'm going to press the enter key. So the next thing I need to do now is just copy and paste this code for 3 more times. These 3 lines of code, I'm going to paste them 3 more times. Control V to paste, Control V to paste, Control V to paste. On the 4th one, on the final one, here, I'm just going to say default, enter, and I will say break, semicolon to end my statement. So here now I need to change the plus to minus, to asterisk, to multiplication, and then to division. So everything else stays right. So let's remove the extra spaces. So this is a select case. So if the case is plus, this will happen. If the case is minus, this will happen. If the case is multiplication, this will happen. But here I need to change the operator here. So for the plus, I'm going to say plus. The minus is going to be minus. The multiplication will be multiplication. And the division will be division. Okay, I've got my operators here. Okay, the next thing we need to do is make sure that when we actually, every time we select any of the operators or any number, we want basically this operator basically to be disabled or enabled. So what we need to do in order to do this, we need to create a new variable. I'm just going to add the Boolean data type, which is the data type which is true or false. Did the operation performed? And the default value will be false. So I want to basically check if the operation is performed. So now what I need to do, so I will say did the operator performed equals true, and when somebody clicks on any of the numbers, I'm going to change the value of the did the operator is performed. I'm going to change that to false, semicolon to end my statement. In fact, let's put this in here, just above, just before. Okay, so it's going to be the first thing that's going to happen. So now I'm going to name my label. I'm just going to change the name to LBL current operation, and I'm just going to change the text value here to nothing, so it's going to be blank. Let's go back to the code now on the operator, and what I'm going to say here, LBL current operation dot text is equals to the result value plus, I'm just going to put some space here, oops, plus, and I will say plus, and then I'm going to bring the operation performed, semicolon to end my statement. So now if I press start, I will say 5 plus, I can see actually the plus now, 3 equals. Now this is not working yet, but we're gonna fix that in a minute. But as you can see here, the operation is added. Okay, so next let's fix the calculation. Okay, to fix this we're gonna go here on the if statement, and we're gonna put another condition. Let's put this in parentheses. And I will say or is the shift, is the shift and the backslash, and then I will say did the operation performed. And I'm going to put this within parentheses. So now if I press start, and I will say 6 plus 6 equals, I've got 12. Then we need to clear this. This is what we're going to do next. Okay, let's go back here, and we're going to double click here, and we're going to put txt result.text equals, and then we're going to say nothing, semicolon statement. Let's put 0 in fact. Let's go back now to the design view, and we're going to double click on the clear, and then we're going to actually copy that and paste this line here, the enter key, and we're going to say result value equals 0. So now when we press start, we say 3 plus 3 equals 6. Let's clear that. Plus 6 equals, can you see that? So however, if I clear this, I will say 6 plus 6 equals 6 equals, as you can see, is adding stuff. Anyway, so this is to clear all. Okay, and this to clear the entry like normal calculator. Now let's stop this. Okay, the next thing I need to do is go to after the break, and I'm just gonna put, let's put here the result value is equals to double dot parse. I'm going to say txt result dot text, semicolon to my statement, and then I'm going to, well, I want to display on the label, so LBL current operation dot text is equals to nothing. So I'm going to clear it. I need to put this curly bracket. Let's go there. Okay, it's 3 plus 3 equals plus 6 equals plus 9 equals. Okay, so that's good. So I've got 21. Now minus 2 plus 6 times 5 equals. So I've got everything now, and everything is displayed. Okay, the next thing we need to do now is I'm going to select here this button, and I'm just going to put the same event, button click event. I'm just going to copy this, and I'm going to apply this event here on this button. I'm going to go then to properties, and I'm just going to change the text value to a dot. Okay, so then now I can actually create decimal places. So I will say 3.3 times 2 equals 6.6. That's correct. But the problem I've got now here is if I put 3 dot 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 dot, I can actually do that, so I'm going to break the program. So what I need to do now, I need to create an if statement. So let's go back to the code view. Let's go to the button click. Let's create an if statement here. We'll say if the button is equals to, sorry, the button text is equals to equals double quotes dot. Then I'm going to create another if statement. Let's put curly brackets here. If it is not, it doesn't contain, so txt result dot text doesn't contain dot contains dot, then show me this. Else show me this again. So let's try now. 3 point. Now it doesn't add. Plus 6 equals 9 plus 2.3 equals 11.3. So everything is working now for me. And this is how you create an advanced calculator by using C#. Hope you've learned something new today. If you have any questions, please let me know. Speak to you soon. Bye.